And we are live! Hello, motherfucker. Welcome to... Why are you laughing? Welcome to the More Life podcast. And on episode 2, we're going to be speaking about if you want to live past 100 years old. If you want to be as strong as anyone's dad that you know. And be mobile enough to scran your own arse up until the day that you die, if you want, obviously. Then tune the fuck in. Let's go. So I'll start off with a little backstory of a client I had come into me a couple weeks ago. And basically he came in with just general stiffness, lower back pain, all that kind of stuff. Turns out he was an office job related person. So most of what he done on his daily weekly life was sit in a fucking office chair. And surprise, surprise, his lower back stiffened up to the point where he didn't feel ready to go to the gym. And we spoke about that. I said, so are you looking to get into the gym after we clear this pain and stuff like that? He was like, yeah, that's why I came to you first, Jack, is because I don't feel ready to start the gym. I feel if I was to start working out on top of the tension I've got, I'll just injure myself and there's no point in that. And I said, cool, that is a valid point. So what we'll do is we'll clear the tension, clear the pain, some exercises to make you feel a little bit more mobile and start to break up the stagnant activity, staying still for hours and hours a day so that you don't lock up and start to feel 40 years older than you actually are. Because that's the thing. So many clients I have, whether it's 10-year-olds, nah, I've not got a fucking 10-year-old client, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, they all start to feel the same age. Because it all comes from the same thing. Staying in the same position for too long, not doing regular movement. Simple as fucking that. The only thing that makes it a bit more complex is having the knowledge to actually elaborate on what to do when it comes to mobility, when it comes to the gym, progressing in that side of your life. And obviously that's where me and Kyle come in. More life coaching, more life coaching for Kyle, more life clinic for me. With health, fitness and recovery all encapsulated in both of our service, we can take you from being a stiff motherfucker that's never gymmed a day in his life to hitting PPs in the gym, even if it's just 3 days a week, seeing crazy progress in the gym, more mobile, moving pain-free all the time, forgetting what pain even feels like when it comes to moving, because we have the knowledge and the accountability to move you forward in that way and create a lifestyle change for you that will make health, fitness and recovery a part of your life and a part of your routine. So Kyle, I'm going to ask you, brother, what would you say the first step is to getting out of that hole? If you're even not just an office job, if you just generally don't prioritize your recovery, don't prioritize your fitness, you don't gym, you don't stretch, you do feel pain on a daily basis when you move, what would you say, whether it's a mental shift or a physical thing that you need to do, would be one of the first things you would advise to start doing?
Just to start the journey to be stronger, healthier.
In general, just to really move things forward when it comes to making health and recovery a priority.
Well, it does start with that first question of what am I doing right now in order for me to become that person. In the last podcast, I outlined the fact that before doing anything in life, you need to understand why you're doing it. And I would say you need to create that ideal avatar version of yourself. So if you're someone like Jack says, you're always sitting in an office job, you're sitting with a wee weak arse and tight hip flexors, you need to ask yourself, am I happy to live a life with tight hip flexors and a weak bum? And if you're not, then that's when the change comes in. You then need to start outlining who you want to be. And then it starts to give you this blueprint of how you need to act and accordingly with that person that you want to be. So if you're someone that sits in an office job, never gymmed a day in their life, you might not have crazy goals to bench press 140 kilo and do crazy things in the gym, but you might think, fucking hell, I would like to not get a tired bicep when I wipe my arse in the morning. That would then start with you maybe thinking about going to the gym once, twice a week. But a lot of people don't do that because a lot of people think that you need to go to the gym 4, 5, 6 days a week, and then they use the excuse, oh, I've not got the time. When in reality, I've got clients at the moment that are going to the gym twice a week and they're losing a kilo a week. They're getting a lot stronger every single time they come in. They're progressing. On my story the other day, I put up a little poll, a little question box of how many times a week should you go to the gym to progress? And a lot of people said 3 to 4 and then 5 to 6. But in reality, what is progress? That's what you need to outline and understand. If you went to the gym once a week and done the same session every single week and got better on that one session, is that not progress? I would say it is. So you need to outline what progress is to you, how much progress you want to make, what your goals are. And that would be the kind of first step you would take towards becoming that better version of yourself. Because if you don't do that, you don't even know what direction you're going in. You're literally in the dark with where you want to go. So I'd say that's probably the first thing you would want to start outlining why, where, who, and that gives you a good direction to go in.
And when it comes to, I'll elaborate on the weak arse and the tight hip flexors, because it's not predominantly about the problem being weak arse, tight hip flexors. It's about what that will start to cause in your life. Having a weak arse, not being able to fill out a pair of jeans as a man, or sometimes even a woman, one, doesn't look good.
Does not look good.
Put it there, plain and simple, doesn't look fucking good. I've not got a big fat juicy arse, right? But I look stable, and that's probably the main thing. I look like I can stand up straight without just falling over, because I've got a wee tight hip flexors, a wee weak arse. But what that weak arse and tight hip flexor starts to cause for you in your life is compensation for your lower back when you're bending over and standing up, because ultimately that hip hinge movement, for example, is predominantly controlled by your glutes if they're switched on sufficiently enough. But if they're not, compensation for your lower back, pain, tension build up into lower back, then you're waking up every day in pain. Simple as that. And then it is just as simple a fix as prioritizing a little bit of mobility, a little bit of muscle activation to start to create a mind-muscle connection between your arse and your brain. And it's as simple as that to really just implement on a daily, weekly basis to start to prevent pain and tension build up and ultimately give you a pain-free life when it comes to movement and activity. And to elaborate on that also, you don't need to stretch full body every single day. I don't. But I don't also walk around in pain ever. And there is just principles that you need to follow. As Kyle said, you don't need to gym 5-6 days a week. You could gym 2, 3, 4 days a week and still see mad progress and feel amazing. So when it comes to stretching and mobility, 3 to 5 days a week is all you need to think about, or 3 to 5 times a week is all you need to think about covering each muscle group, each area, and exposing those areas and muscles to end range so that that awareness is kept up so that you never lose it. You've probably heard this saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. That is a very simple concept, but so effective if you can understand and apply that to movement, to strength, to everything in your life. But specifically health and recovery, you just need to make sure that you are regularly exposing your body to stress when it comes to mobility, when it comes to putting your body under load to increase levels of strength. This is what will create longevity in your life, and this is what me and Kyle will give you the knowledge and accountability to help build that routine and that lifestyle change that will prioritize health and recovery and create longevity for the rest of your life so that you can scran your arse as much as you fucking want. I don't want to, but you might. And you want to be mobile enough to even do simple tasks like bend over and touch your toes. And it's like, oh yeah, I don't bend over and touch my toes ever. What do you mean? There's positions in life that you will have to bend all the way over, reach all the way up, that you don't want to have to tweak your back just because you've not cared to implement a little bit of mobility on a 3 to 5 times a week basis. Very simple, and it will prevent pain, tension, build up that will give you a life that you could only think about if you don't do these simple little things.
And it is just as simple as that. When Jack spoke about the exposing your body to stress, give you an example in the gym, right? If you want to get stronger in the gym, you need to go into the gym, expose your body to X amount of stress. Your body's very smart, so what it's going to do is, if you're sleeping properly, if you're eating properly, if you're not overtraining, okay, your body's going to adapt to that stress, become stronger and to deal with the stress, okay? That is then you getting stronger in the gym. That's then you progressing as long as you're progressively overloading your training and adding more stress to your body. A lot of people overcomplicate it completely, right? So a very simple progression scheme that you can use in the gym to take away from this podcast is you go to the gym, okay, you've got a set of 6 to 8 on bench press, and you've got a set of 10 to 12. That's 2 rep ranges. What I do with clients, what a lot of people in the gym do to make this simple, is you start off at 6 reps with as heavy as a weight you can go. You would then build up 7 reps, 8 reps. When you get to the top of that 6 to 8 rep range, you would then come back down to 6 reps and up the load again. Okay, and the rinse and repeat in this simple progression scheme is allowing you to add more stress to your workouts, give your body more stress to adapt to, and before you know it, you've got a big chest, you're strong as fuck, just by doing that simple progression scheme. And it's not as complicated as periodization and all this fucking, for a lot of people, you just need to go to the gym and add more stress to your body, as long as you're, as I said, sleeping, eating, and recovering, not overtraining too much, you're going to be able to adapt to that, get stronger, and see progress in the gym. So it's just as simple as that.
I'll tell you what you need to do to make this a routine and part of your life and ultimately create a long, healthy life when it comes to movement and activity. And I'll tell you what we'll do for you. So we'll start with what we need to do for you, okay? So what we'll do for you is give you the knowledge that you need to create this as part of your lifestyle and part of your routine. That's going to be everything from mobility. That's going to be everything from bringing awareness to the habits you need to have in your life, whether that's also different supplements that we can help you start to implement, different parts of your routine, habits, all the knowledge when it comes to the gym, all the knowledge when it comes to getting treated. Obviously, if you could strip your own arse out, strip your legs out, strip all the muscles out in your body and clear it of tension and stay tension free, amazing. But I think that's why I've got a fucking job. So when it comes to everything that we'll do, we're going to give you all the knowledge that you need to optimize your health, recovery, everything. And all you need to do is show up and tick the boxes. It's as simple as it gets. You don't need to think about, what mobility routine do I need to do every morning? What muscle groups, what joints, this and that, this and that. All you need to do is show up and tick the boxes and just take action. And when you start to understand the outcome of the ticking the boxes and the action you're going to take, you will do it, because the outcome of it is a far greater quality of life and a far greater quality of life for the rest of your life. It's not just you come to us and you're sound for a few weeks and you go back to the same fucked state. As soon as you come to me and Kyle, you will change your life forever when it comes to movement and activity. This is the tools that we have to completely change your life when it comes to health and recovery, to ensure that you are pain-free all the time, to ensure that you know where you're going and the direction you're going when it comes to health and fitness, and actually have goals to hit so that you can start to feel a little bit more purpose when it comes to health, fitness and recovery. Because ultimately, a lot of the reason people don't do things is because there is no purpose in doing it. Like, you think about school, for example. There's subjects that you switched the fuck off in. You never concentrated in certain subjects, but the little ones that you had slight interest in, you probably tried that bit harder and done that bit better in tests. And that's because there was a little reason why you wanted to do better, or you ended up inherently doing better because you were interested in it. And that was the reason why you showed interest. So the reason why is what we'll give you to stay on track. The purpose is what we'll give you to stay on track and create this as a part of your life. Because let's flip it. Imagine you don't do this. Imagine you don't prioritize your health and recovery for the next 10, 20, 30 years. What is your life going to look like? How mobile are you going to be? How stable and mobile and strong is your body going to be to handle simple daily tasks? At this moment in time, I have clients that come into me that pull their back out doing simple daily tasks. And it purely comes down to just a lack of exposure to mobility and to load. So think about what your mind, think about what your life will be in the future if you don't make health and recovery a priority. It becomes a very simple choice, because it's not just you need to think about. If I have a stroke, Kyle, please roll me on my side. I don't know what the fuck's going on today.
Yeah.
But
relax, bro.
If you think about in the future, it's not just for you, but it's for the people that need you. It's for the people that will rely on you to be functional and strong enough to help them out, whether that's building a little table from IKEA or helping them bring the shopping in or whatever the case may be. You need to think about not just for you, but for them. The people that will rely on you in later life to do the simple daily tasks. Think about that.
100%. I'm going to come back to that point in a second, right? But firstly, when you come to people like me and Jack, when you come to us, you're going to have a starting point, right? And it might be quite low. You might be quite stressed out. You might be quite unaware. You're probably not in control of your actions, right? Fuck you, you can't.
So good.
You have a starting point, right? And the thing about that is you might be quite low, stressed out, unaware, not in control, right? But then you're going to get to a point where you are aware, you're in control, you feel more positive, you're healthier, you're stronger, you've got that longevity, right, in your life now, because you've got this structured plan that we've built in order to get you there. You might, at that high point that you get to, have something that fucks you up in life again, stresses you out, you lose a family member, etc. And you might go back to that starting point. You might go back to that fucking stress out state, that low position that you were in before. But the good thing is, that structured plan that we've built, that blueprint we've built to get you to that high state is still there. You still know what that is. So regardless, when we're talking about longevity, regardless if life fucks you, right, which it can, which it will, life is fucking fucked, you might go back into that starting point, okay? But because you've got that blueprint that we've already built, that structured plan that got you from low to high, you can just rinse and repeat that again. You're still the same person, so you can use that structured plan that we've built to use again to get to that high position, okay? So that's the important thing about coming to a coach or coming to a therapist that is longevity based, that does want you to have permanent changes, because it's not just going to be let's get a 6-week, 12-week transformation and fuck you off and use you for Instagram. It is how do you as an individual build a structured plan to get to this point that you want to get to, and really learning you as an individual and learning what you need to do to get to that point. So that again, if you get fucked back into the low position, you've got that plan and that blueprint to use to get back to that high position. What was the point you just made there? Remind me.
About the future, like future you, like
no, fuck.
future pacing.
You said a good point. I was going to come back to there. Fuck.
You shouldn't have smoked that DMT joint last night,
I know.
bro.
I went to a different universe last night. Fuck. You said something really good.
I was just talking about how my head's gone as well. I shouldn't have smoked that DMT last night.
Fuck me.
Fuck, man.
Fuck's sake,
listen,
man.
guys, anyone watching this, DMT is a powerful drug. I'm kidding.
No, we
I've
didn't take
never
DMT.
fucking
He's
used
kidding,
that in
man.
my life.
But he said a good fucking point there. Really, really good point. And I wanted to come back to it. You just say another point. I'll think of what you said.
Yeah. So just to touch on another thing, right? It's so simple. What we're talking about is so simple. You think about every successful person you see on social media that you might know personally. What are they doing to build such a successful life? The same shit every fucking day. It's not this mad, crazy fucking thing that you need to think about doing. It's very simple little concepts that as long as you apply with persistence every day, every week, every month, every year, you will compound your efforts into something greater. And if you do that, prioritizing health and recovery and fitness, well, what's going to happen? You're going to get more mobile. You're going to feel less pain. You're going to get stronger. You're going to create longevity in your life purely based on doing the simple things every day. And the cool thing is, right, you're like, well, if it's so simple, why are you guys blah, blah, blah? That's the thing. There's a reason why you have courses that you can go on to educate yourself, because not everyone can do every job in the world. That's why people have jobs. That's why a doctor's a doctor, a lawyer's a lawyer. You put a lawyer in a doctor's job, shit will fall out their arse because they don't have a fucking clue. You put a doctor in a lawyer's job, fucking they'll start crying and run away. So that's exactly why you would come to us. We don't expect you to know all of this shit. That is exactly why we want you to come to us. We will inform you on the simple things you need to apply on a daily, weekly basis. And we will also hold you accountable in the process to make sure that you build over time to see the progress and the results you want.
I remembered the point. Okay, so that's class. The brain fog's fucking ridiculous today. I need to have more caffeine. But the point Jack made, right, about who you will be in the future for people around you, right? And a lot of the time, people will not go to the gym. Like, I've had clients before, like, oh, I had to look after my kids, or I had to help my mum put the fucking shopping away, or whatever they say, right? And it's all down to them feeling selfish for going to the gym, feeling selfish to give their self time, right? But in my opinion, right, listen to this, it's selfish not to be selfish, okay? Because if you're not selfish, I think selfish has a lot of negative connotations, but I don't actually think being selfish is a bad thing, because if you're selfish and you can go to the gym, give yourself time to get better, who do you then get to be around the people that you love, okay? You get to be a better version of yourself for them. You serve them with a better version of you, meaning that selfishness that you're not going to the gym because of is actually allowing you to be more selfish because you're not giving them a better version of yourself. Do you know what I mean? So if you are not taking the action because you feel like, oh, I feel selfish just taking an hour out of my day to just have me time, that me time that you're not giving yourself isn't allowing you to be the best version of yourself for the people around you. So that's actually selfish within itself. You not becoming a better version of yourself. And I'm not saying you right now is definitely shit, right? But if you're not ticking the boxes, you've not got a structured plan to become better, you're not regularly exercising, you've not got a good diet, you're not staying mobile, you're not on top of your stress, you're not sleeping properly, you're not a good person to be around, or as good as you could be. You know yourself, you might nip at the people around you, you might be a bit of a moody cunt. And if you are that moody cunt, if you aren't the best version of yourself and you're full of energy and you're not walking into rooms with the people that you love and making them feel better, ask yourself why. Like, why can you not be that fucking ball of energy that they just vibe off of and you help them feel better? If you walk in, they've had a shitty morning, right? Why are you not the person that can walk in and make their day better? If you're not, ask yourself why. Analyze and reflect and ask yourself, what am I doing right now that's not allowing me to be the best version of myself? And it might be because you feel like you're being selfish for doing the things that you should do to be better for them. And a lot of the time, as I said, I'm so happy I remember this point, because it is such a thing that people tend to not take action for themselves, and they don't even understand or really dig into the reasons why they should. And a big reason why is so that you can serve the people around you, the people that you love and care about.
Yeah, so to add to just a separate point, I saw a video this morning and it was like, say you're driving up to a traffic light and that traffic light's just turned amber. You can either stop, obviously, because that's what you fucking do, or you can just boost by and just make it and just pass the traffic light before it stops and keep going. And say you've got a destination that you're traveling to. You get to that destination that little bit sooner, right? You get to that destination that little bit sooner. That will then open up the opportunity for you to get that little car parking space right outside the venue. And then you could potentially meet someone that could potentially change the whole trajectory of your life. Whereas if you were to just stop, wait for the traffic light, and obviously prolong the time getting there, you could potentially miss those opportunities. It's not to say that the reverse couldn't have happened, but the point is that you need to be aware of the opportunities or the decisions you're not making that could potentially put you in a worse off situation in the future. So you need to also remember, I remember Joe Rogan as well, he says a little thing about, imagine having this like mirror image of you next to you, and for every decision you make, that mirror image will make the right decision. And as long as you're aware, you can start to visualize this. And whenever they make the right decision, you make the wrong decision. Imagine that happens on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Imagine from the start of the year to the end of the year, if you even made a few wrong decisions over the course of weeks, how much it would add up over the year and how much further ahead that mirror image would be just from making the right decision. It's just all about how bad you want it. Obviously, I know a lot of people that just put up with being in pain. Because it's just like, as long as they're not moving, they're fucking not in pain. So they just won't move as much. But if you think about it logically, as time goes on, and these are like 20 to 30-year-old people I'm talking about right now, 20, 30-year-old clients. You think about it, right? Everyone always thinks for the short term. That's where we come in and start to allow you to understand thinking for the long term, thinking about later life. You can't just always think for the short term, or that's all you really live for and amount to. You want to think about in 30, 40, 50 years, as long as that seems, you want to be setting yourself up for then. And there is things that you just do need to maintain to have when you are 30, 40, 50, 60 years older. Even if it's 10, 20 years older, even if it's 5, 10 years older, you need to make sure you're doing things that will create a level of maintenance of those things that you want to have in later life. And when movement and recovery and activity comes into it, then it just is little simple concepts that me and Kyle will be able to educate you on and apply to then create that ability to have what you want in that later life.
100%. And when you're saying it again, we always speak about being more aware, and that I think is one of the main pillars of more life is awareness, self-awareness. Not just awareness in general, but more so awareness of your own actions and self-awareness within your own life. And a big part of being more aware is having the conversations, like having those conversations, digging in and reflecting and asking yourself questions to become more aware. So with clients, a big part of how I allow clients to become more self-aware is conversations. And it might sound fucking simple. Why are people paying you money just to have a conversation? But the really important part about that is no one has these conversations. Every single time I speak to a client and it's reflecting and it's asking them questions, digging into why they don't feel this, why they don't feel that, they're thanking me for it. And I ask them, when was the last time you had a conversation like this? Oh, never. I don't have these conversations. And that is the problem, okay? Because a lot of people avoid these conversations any conversation that results in either questioning yourself or results in action being taken, people will avoid it because it's not comfortable, okay? So the other day, my client came into me one-to-one and she said, I'm really stressed out. I think it's, and I said, why? And she said, oh, well, I'm a mum. It's this time of year and it's really, really stressful and I've got all this to do and I've got a uni thing to do and I've got work to do and I've got no time. And I said, well, is that why you're stressed out? And then I asked her, how many times in the last week, 2 weeks, have you been present? How many times in the last 2 weeks have you given yourself a chance to just sit and detach yourself from any responsibilities and have a bit of time just in the moment? She said none at all, right? We, from having a simple conversation, we reflected and it allowed us to understand what she wasn't doing to feel better rather than the things that were making her feel stressed. If she had those moments being present, the things that were making her feel stressed wouldn't have made her feel as stressed or stressed at all. And that simple reflection, that simple conversation allowed her to move forward with a different perspective. She's now messaging me this morning before this podcast and she said, I'm feeling a lot better. I'm not even feeling stressed about the situation anymore because on a daily basis, I'm having that time where I'm present. But she wouldn't even have had that time to be present if we didn't have that conversation. So all does come from conversations, and the conversations that you might be avoiding could be the very conversations that would change your fucking full life.
And when it comes to prioritizing time for this as well, because a lot of the times I hear clients, I just don't have the time, just don't have this. So then I question them. I question them what they do on a daily basis, right? And I start to see holes in their day that they could do these things. So one, it is all about priorities, right? But at the same time, there's a difference between physical time and headspace. I understand that. Not a lot of people do. But when you start to truly value your time, you understand that you will have more physical time in a day than the headspace. So that's where you would need to want to delegate things like having a scheduling app, whether that's just Google Calendar or whatever, so that you can start to put things down on paper and open your headspace up for more things to think about or whatever. So, for example, right, you sitting watching this right now, think about times in the day where you scroll, times in the day where you'll do things that will not move the needle in what you want to push forward in your life. So whether that's you're in a job, right, and you've got things you know you need to do that day, cool. You might not want to substitute the tasks that you need to do that day for the job, but think about what you're doing that you could substitute a bit of stretching for, a little hour of the gym for. And that's where you'll start to then open up time in the day and the week that you never knew was there because there's just a lack of awareness and appreciation for actually prioritizing that time. And as Kyle said, it takes for you to be selfish to actually be selfless, because what we mean by that is what Kyle said. You need to do things for you in order for you to be able to do things for other people that you care about. If you can't move, if you're not strong enough to, do you know what I mean? As dark as this fucking gets, like there could be things that you would have the ability to save someone's life. And imagine you just weren't that bit strong enough, whether it was your core or your reactions weren't quick enough, because that's another thing as well. You stretch, you do the weights, you're starting to increase mind-muscle connection, neuromuscular control, which is then the ability to connect better to your muscles, which will improve reaction time and allow you to gain more control over the way you move and how maybe quickly you move. So without getting really fucking dark and horrible, like what if that ability opened you up to be able to save someone's life one day? And what if you just had to sit by and watch someone fucking die because you weren't mobile or strong enough to step in and help? Probably never happen. That will probably never happen. I hope it never happens. But I've had people come in and tell me, clients, really fucked up situations that was out with their control, right? But it just opens your mind up to not leave it up to chance to then determine whether you can save someone's life or not. Just be able to. Like, I always hear a lot of people talking about being able to fight, because you're not planning to get beat up or a gang of fucking people come up and try and rob you and your girlfriend or anything like that. But why leave it up to chance, obviously, to that potentially happen? You want to be able to defend yourself. That's why for the last couple of years, I really trained quite heavily into Muay Thai. And yeah, I really gained the skill of being able to fight and defend myself. And the same applies when it comes to being mobile enough or strong enough to step in and potentially save someone's life one day. Don't be the stiff, fucking weak cunt that can't do anything for anyone. You want to have the mobility and the stability and the strength to have the power to do that. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's an excuse people use as well. They're, I don't need to go to the gym to look ripped. I don't want a six pack. And it doesn't need to directly apply to what you want. You might not want a six pack. You might not want a big chest. You might not want shoulder veins. You might not want all these things, right? But what you might want is a bit more confidence. What you might want is a better quality of life, okay? So imagine you go to the gym, you get into shape, you become more confident, a promotion comes up at work, and you're the first person to ask, the first person to apply for it. You then get that promotion that gives you more money. That allows you to provide more for your family, more freedom, go on an extra holiday a year.
Because you're more secure in yourself, yeah.
Yeah, that all came from you getting the six pack, right? But because you didn't want, you tell yourself, oh, but I don't want a six pack. That's why you don't do it. But what if that six pack gives you the six pack gives you the confidence to get a new job, to get more money, to give more freedom for your family? Like, that is then a reason why you should do it. And a lot of people are, oh, I don't go to the gym, I don't need big muscles. But it's not just about the big fucking muscles. What do those muscles give you? What does that physique give you? And even this alone, right? You will gain more confidence just by going to the gym twice a week, because you're getting better, right? You've not got this in your head that you're just staying the same and you're not getting better. You're at least taking steps in the right direction, which will give you a lot of confidence. And when we speak about, Jack says about coming to us for coaching or for therapy, and it happens with every single client, they'll come to me with zero knowledge, absolutely zero knowledge, right? As soon as you know a tiny bit, your confidence skyrockets, okay? So put yourself in this position, which it might be you right now watching this. You're like, Kyle, I don't know what to do in the gym. Don't even know how to structure a fucking workout, okay? As soon as you know how to structure a workout, compounds at the start, isolations, and you've done a full push session or a pull session or a back session, chest session, whatever, you're then going to be able to tell your friend how to do a push session or a chest session. You're then going to be over the moon that you can go into the gym with some kind of approach and a purpose and a structure. Because you knew fuck all before, you now know, if you know zero, right, and you even learn, 1%, you still know so much more than you did before. Therefore, your confidence is going to fucking skyrocket. So if you're sitting there with zero knowledge and it's stopping you going to the gym, just learn a little bit, okay? Get a coach, learn a little bit, and I guarantee your confidence is going to fucking 10x, and it'll allow you to do a lot more things in life than you think you could have before, because you had this belief system that only allowed you to believe that, oh, I can go to the gym and waste my time and there's no point in doing it because I don't want a six pack. That's because right now you've got fuck all knowledge and be able to actually get that six pack. So as soon as you know a little bit, your confidence will skyrocket.
And that's the knowledge and accountability that me and Kyle fucking give you. We're putting it on a plate here. Fucking message us.
Yeah.
Jack Ritchie _ sports therapy on Instagram. My number 077 kidding on. But fucking let's elaborate on why a six pack gives you confidence, because a lot of people will hear that and say, because you look better in the mirror, because people blah 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 blah. You're not ever gonna lift up your top and show someone your fucking six pack. No.
You might.
It's about the process of getting the six pack. It's about the consistency and the evidence that you built stack up to show that you are disciplined, you are consistent, you do respect yourself, you do value your goals and being more confident and being fitter and all that kind of stuff. It's the process in actually getting a six pack that will give you the self-confidence, because you are reinforcing the discipline, the consistency, the self-respect. And that's what we're talking about. We're not just talking about, oh, you get more confidence because you got a six pack and you look better. Nah. The process of getting the fucking six pack is what will give you the confidence, because in order to get a six pack, you need to be consistent. You need to be disciplined. You need to sacrifice the pleasure and sometimes put that aside and choose the harder decision to not snack on the cookies, like we talked about episode 1. To resist the temptation of going out and drinking every single fucking weekend, because you could and still potentially get a six pack. Cool, right? Yeah, that's fine. But nailing what you're doing in your daily, weekly life is what will give you the confidence to ask for that promotion when it comes up, or take that next step towards things that will further benefit your life in different ways. It's not about looking good. It's about and what the process is in order to get the six pack is what will give you the self-confidence.
Well, in order to look good, you need to be disciplined. And what is discipline? Discipline is consistently doing things even when you don't want to do them, right? But when we're speaking about having a six pack, and getting a better body, that is for you. Those actions that you're taking is for you. So if you're disciplined, it's the highest amount of self-love you can give yourself, because you're consistently taking action for yourself, regardless if you want to or not. So if you've got this consistent action for you, you're not going to ever disrespect yourself in any way, because you've got this discipline and proof to tell you that you respect yourself, you can do things for you, right? And then when you've got the thought of, oh, it's selfish to go to the gym, it won't even enter your head, okay? Because that discipline, you love and respect yourself enough to take action and do that thing that allows you to become a better version for the people around you. Yep. So it comes back to that point of, it's not just about you, okay? But if you do things for you, the version of yourself that you get to be for other people that you love and care about is a much better version, and you get to serve them like you serve yourself. But that won't happen if you don't serve yourself. That will not happen if you're not disciplined and you give yourself that love, if you give yourself that self-love. And a little point to make is, I think loving yourself, or you love yourself, and I think throughout life, from when we've been younger, if you love yourself, you're an arrogant cunt. If you love yourself, you're, oh, he's a cocky wanker, he's full of himself. Like, loving yourself is actually thought about quite negatively, which is fucked up in my opinion. If you don't love yourself, you can't love anyone else, right? And you might think that's a bit fucking, but you actually can't fully love anyone else if you don't love yourself. If you don't respect yourself, you can't fully respect others, okay? For example, I'll give you a really good example. I know this is going a little bit off topic, but if you don't respect yourself enough, right, you will not respect others. And this is an example I'll give you. If you lie to yourself, you're going to lie to others. If you're not disciplined for yourself, you're not going to be disciplined with the actions for other people. So for example, if you really respect yourself, you're not going to be an unloyal, disloyal person to your friends, right? But if you are a rat to your pals, right, if you lie to them, or you talk about a shit to them, like they say, oh bro, like I'm going to come pick you up now, let's go to the gym. You're like, oh no, I've got a sore back, but actually you're sitting having a wank. That disrespect, that lie that you've just said to your friend, you're only saying that lie to your friend. You're only not being honest because you don't respect yourself enough to be authentic. You don't respect yourself enough to actually tell your friend the fucking truth. So in reality, if you don't love yourself, it will start to affect other people around you, because if you're not full of self-love, if you don't love yourself, which is thought of as a negative thing, you can't be fully authentic. You can't be fully you, because you don't even love yourself enough to be you. Do you know what I mean? It's fucked. It's actually fucked.
And the even more fucked up thing about that is the actions that you will then portray yourself to be. People around you, the friends that you betray in that way, will start to fucking hate you and think, oh, he doesn't care about me. He doesn't give a fuck about me. But in actual fact, it's you don't give a fuck about yourself. You care so much about that person, bro. You care so much about that fucking person, but you act in a way that portrays that you don't give one single fuck about them because you don't give a fuck about yourself. And that's where self-respect starts to translate into respect in others as well, because the actions of being self-respectful will start to portray in the way you behave towards others. So it is quite cool how as soon as you start to up that self-respect, you will start to show more respect to those around you, and watch the connections, watch the network just fucking blow up. And the people that you want in your life, you will have. Honestly, think about it.
This is really good though.
The attitude.
Are you going to make a good point? No. This is really good though, because see, for the people that can't do it for them, this is perfect. Because if you can't do it for you, do it for the people you fucking love and care about. Because if you're that friend that's not being fully loyal, you're hiding things, you're not telling your pals that, you do not want to make them feel shit, right? The last thing you want to do, I guarantee you, if you don't care about yourself, you at least care about them. Last thing you want to do is make your friends feel fucking shit or feel like you're not there for them, etc. So if you can't do it for you, do it for the people around you. Because I guarantee right now, if you don't have that self-love, if you're not getting the discipline and the respect to do it for yourself, I guarantee you can find some motivation to do it for the people around you, because you definitely do love them. Like, who doesn't love the people around them, their mom, their dad, their sister, their brother? Like, if you can't do it for you, do it for fucking them.
And a few nuggets I want to drop in as well, because the whole reason that we've even started this podcast, or a big part of it, is to give perspective, wisdom and knowledge that we've acquired over the years of being wisdom keepers and wanting to fucking build the knowledge and wisdom to optimize our life and give it to people that they actually would love to hear this and get the opportunity to change their perspective, but just don't know where to look. The reason I say that is I've treated nearly 500 fucking people this year, and that's just in the Calendly booking system that I can see. And mostly everyone I speak to, I speak about basic concepts and they don't have a fucking clue. And when they do, they always go away, oh, this was like a therapy session. You didn't just treat me. You gave me perspective that I could apply and improve my life on and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's so sick. So it makes me fucking freak out how many people that could watch this and just change their whole life and the trajectory of it and the outcome of it just from what we're saying. It's fucking crazy, right? But a little nugget I want to drop in is an American speaker from the 50s, I believe, Earl Nightingale. Like, one of the most kind of like visionary type people I've ever seen in the 50s. He was a millionaire, and back then, if you're a millionaire, a lot of fucking money. And chapter 1 on his book, Lead the Field, is the magic word. And the magic word is attitude. And basically what he talks about is your attitude will be a complete reflection, or your life will be a complete reflection of your attitude. And what he means by that is the attitude you portray towards other people, towards scenarios and situations and decisions in your life will ultimately lead to the outcome of your life. So he went on a little kind of story about how a new couple moved into the neighborhood, right? And the wife came into the neighborhood and she saw that there was quite a nice little community of all the other wives in the neighborhood. But because they didn't bring her a welcome gift, like a little cake or whatever, she was then asked a few weeks later to come to a little party or whatever, and she didn't end up going or something like that. And it was because of what she didn't receive is what they thought about her. But in actual fact, as soon as she moved into the neighborhood, she didn't open herself up to be welcomed. So she didn't actually go and maybe chap and say, hi, we're the new neighbours in the fucking neighbourhood or whatever, to open herself up to be received in a welcoming way. So the way she acted initially going into that neighbourhood became a reflection of what the people in that neighbourhood acted towards her. So start to think about this. When you're walking down the street or walking in the gym, look up and smile and say hi to that person that you never say hi to. Do that to everyone and watch how your life changes in such a positive way. It's fucking crazy. Just purely from just changing your attitude, man. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, what you give out is what you get back.
100%. It's like, obviously there's actual laws, like, I think it's Newton's law.
Yeah, I think so, maybe. For every action,
Let's go into a little bit of science.
Yeah, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So, good out, good in. Simple as fucking that. Another nugget, another actionable tool that I want to drop on you guys. And if you don't watch the whole podcast, this will be clipped up and put into a short clip anyway. But another actionable tool I want to give you is the 5-second rule. This is the ultimate tool to become more disciplined instantly. Instantly. Whenever you say your alarm goes off in the morning, count down from 5, and you know within that 5-second period, you will get up and not snooze the alarm. What that does is it gives you the headspace to make that decision. Whereas we never even give ourselves the headspace to make a decision. As soon as that alarm goes off, snooze. No fucking space to think, do I actually want to snooze the alarm, or is it my survival instinct, emotional reaction to that stressor kicking in? So give yourself the 5-second rule method. 5, 4. See, I'm going to line like a waster. No. 2, 1. Up, at 'em. Get the fucking day started. You've won. Small little W at the start of your day, and watch how your day transforms into such a better, more positive, productive day. The 5-second rule. Bosh.
Sick. I like that. See, another tool that I use for clients that snooze the alarm, because I swear every single fucking person in life snoozes the alarm. It's very rare that you meet someone that's like, nope, up every day. At least once time in the week, people will snooze their alarm, especially clients that come to me. A tool that I give them is as simple as fuck. Put your phone at the other side of the room, right? If you walk across the room, turn off that alarm and still crawl into the back of it, still crawl into your bed and go to sleep, you're fucked, man.
God fucking help you.
You're fucked. If you can actually put the phone at the other side of the room, consciously wake up, walk across the room, right? Turn it off, snooze it, and crawl back into bed. You've probably got a mirror in your room as well. You probably have a wee glimpse of yourself in the mirror. Be fucking ashamed of yourself. It's ridiculous. The actual like victimhood mentality of being able to wake up, fully wake up consciously, and then actually put an effort to go back to sleep. That's fucking mental. So if you do that, you're lost, right? Chances are you're going to wake up, walk across the room, snooze it, or turn it off, don't snooze, and then your day starts, okay? And as Jack said, it's the first W of the day. If you're starting the day with a small win, okay, you've trained your brain to win. If you start the day by snoozing the alarm, it's the first loss of the day. It's the first like little stone that's fallen off before the avalanche. You're going to fuck it. You know what I mean? The full day will be filled with losses, more than likely, if you start off by snoozing. And the reality is, if you snooze once, you're going to snooze again. Next thing you know, you snooze for 45 minutes. There's an element of guilt involved in that. You wake up, you're not smashing the day from the start, and it's not allowing you to win the morning, okay? Winning the morning is such a big part of winning the day. So that snooze, fucks it, you've lost the morning already, and it doesn't allow you to actually fulfill yourself going into the start of the day.
If a lack of mobility starts to make you feel negative, because you know when you bend over and grab that thing, you feel tension, you're like, fuck, why am I so old? Making noises. If you wake up or consider going to the gym, but the tension in your neck or the tension in your hips starts to make you just so demotivated and go, nah, I can't even be arsed. Take action. Start to think about taking the right steps towards not feeling like that. Because at the end of the day, you don't need to. People start to normalize. We're creatures of habit. We're creatures of our environment, right? So you injure yourself, right? You injure yourself, sore ankle, right? For example, let's start day one. You're walking down the road, fucking slip, twist your fucking ankle in a pothole. Cool. Swells up, couple weeks, swelling, bruising, goes down. But in that time, you've rested to let it heal. But what's also happened is when your body is damaged, it starts to create this stiffness around the muscles, say around the ankle joint, to protect it. It's a protective mechanism. Your body inherently will stop to move that ankle, and if you listen to it, you will not. You will stop to move the ankle also. What starts to happen is stiffness build up around the ankle. The muscles around it will start to lock up and restrict mobility, say in the ankle, right? You're then walking for months after that injury, and you've not done proper rehab, you've not mobilized the muscles back into the movement of the other ankle, and you start to cause uneven weight distribution up through your legs, into your knees, your hips, lower, mid, upper back, and overall your posture gets thrown out and you just start to completely feel so fucked, right? And 10 years passes, and it's just now a kind of thing that you're always tight and you're always sore. And you come to someone like me and we break down your injury history, and we go, oh yeah, we fucked that ankle that time, one time. And so how did it feel? Hey, I've always had a really sore ankle, sore kind of hips since then kind of thing. And we start to realize, oh fuck, right, cool. You didn't actually rehabilitate that bad injury. And it started to cause a knock-on effect that you've now just adapted to because you're a creature of your environment, a creature of habit. And now it's just the way you are. The amount of clients that come into me and say, I've just always been like this. No, you haven't. Remember when you were a little kid running about, mobile free, fucking loving life, your toes were all spread together, they weren't all fucking bunched together. If people are watching this is who your toes and fucking feet look like. Try and spread your toes. Try and do that. I bet you can't.
For 10 years though.
And I bet you can't though. I bet you can't spread your toes, and how scary is that?
For 10 years though. What allowed that person to go through life and not even fucking take any action?
A lack of fucking self-awareness.
There we go, awareness. It all comes down to fucking awareness, all right? Of it. And I want to speak about as well, like I get multiple clients come to me. Jack said environment, I was going to speak about that as well, because it's such a big thing, right? If you're surrounded by 5 fat cunts that can't stop shoving McDonald's and donuts down their fucking hole, it's going to make you a lot more likely, to eat McDonald's and donuts, okay? If you say, for example, you go out, right, and this is a client I'm speaking about, literally, he used to go to a bowling club to drink. Okay, he's now raised his awareness, and I'm going to speak about what he does now. But what he used to do was he used to go into the bowling club, it'd be 1 pint, 2 pints, 3 pints, 4 pints. Next thing you know, they're 10 pints deep, talking shite, right, completely slivering dog shit, not speaking any sense at all, nothing valuable going on. That situation he was in, he wasn't even sitting aware of the fact they were talking shit. He was the shit talker completely, right? Recently he said to me, fucking hell mate, I go down there and I'm cringing out, my arsehole's fucking tightened up with cringe, the amount of shit these cunts are talking. I'm like, bro, that was you. Literally you. The reason that he now thinks that is because he's aware. It's almost like old him is sitting in that scenario. He's zoomed out because his perspective's changed, and he's sitting looking down at the fucking scenario that he used to be in because of his raised awareness, and he's thinking, what the actual fuck was that about? Like, now he'll go down, have 1 or 2 pints and leave early, whereas these cunts that are talking shite are, where are we going after this, going to a gaff after that, and they're just absolutely talking shite, right? But that raising awareness allowed him to question, is this what I want to do? Like, is this worth my time? Is this valuable? And because he's now aware of the fact that it's not, he then gets to make a different decision. He then gets to go home early, or even avoid going down to the shit talkers at the bowling club and live a completely different life. This is now his life to have a quiet Saturday, gym on the Sunday morning, where it used to be get absolutely leathered on the Friday, get absolutely leathered again on the Saturday, probably get pissed during the day on Sunday to cure it, causes a cure and all that dog shit people talk about, and then on the Monday, constant states of guilt, not going to the gym, avoiding it because he feels rough, and it was just this constant state of fucking dog shit because of his lack of awareness, and it was all due to the lack of awareness, the lack of ability to actually question, is this good for me, do I enjoy this, is this serving me? The answers are all no, but because he didn't have the awareness, he didn't ask himself the fucking question.
And who made him aware, gave him perspective to change and improve his life for the better?
I did.
Little Kyle Ritchie for Caldress.
Wee Kyle Ritchie, and do you know what a big part of this was, right? Going back to what I fucking said, conversations. Just having conversations with someone. Again, my coaching service isn't just sitting chatting to you, right? But a big part of it is conversations. A big part of it is that one-to-one speaking to you about your situation, scenario, allowing you to reflect, allowing you to become aware of your ego, how it's controlling you. So many different things. There's so many layers to this that we couldn't speak about it in one podcast. There's such a in-depth approach to clients and changing them permanently and allowing them to completely change their lives. But a big part of him changing and becoming more aware was the simple conversations that every single fucking person avoids. And it's what he used to avoid, but now because he has them, he's so aware. Quickly, another little story about a client that I have. Right, she's lost, to put her progress pictures up this week actually, she's lost over 20 kilo in body weight. She's now pressing 20 kilo dumbbells above her head, right? And she's also a lot more aware of the people around her that were allowing her to feel negative, right? The only reason she now is aware is because of the conversations we've had, and we've dug into the fact that our environment wasn't suiting her, okay? And I asked her the question, who's around you? Who do you spend time with? She used to go to the gym, right? And she was with her friend. She's still kind of friends with this person, but she really limits the time that she spends with this person because she's now aware of the amount of negativity that's spewed out this person's mouth, right? Before, she wasn't aware of this person's shit talking. She wasn't aware of her environment and how it was affecting her. Now she is. Now she limits the time she spends soaking in negative shite, and she now feels a lot more positive because she became more aware of her environment. And Jack said before, environment is so important. I would say to you, is a good little quote that I've heard before, is if you can't change the people you're around, right, change the people you're around. And that doesn't mean completely chop everyone off, right, but it kind of does, okay? If you need to eliminate the people around you because they're completely negative cunts and you can't help them, if you can't change the people around, that is you trying to help them, okay? But you can't help people that don't want to help themselves. And that's a very hard thing that you need to fucking accept. You might not because there's emotion attached to it. But if you can't change the people around, okay, give a few months of fucking helping them. If you can't change them, change the people around. Your environment will change, your life will change, your actions will change, and your full ability to become better will change.
If you can't change the people around you, change the people you're around. Same thing.
No, if you can't change the people around you,
change the people you're around.
Yeah, so if you can't change the people that are next to you, change the people that are next to you.
Yeah, you said it right. Knowledge is power. You need to understand that.
Not without application.
Knowledge is power. You need to understand that the more you know, if you apply it, the more power you have over the decisions you make and ultimately where your life ends up. Perspective is one of the most, if not the most important thing you can gain to ultimately change your life. When it comes to actually taking control of it. It's fucking mental. You could have one conversation that will change the way you look at things and completely change the way your life ends up for the better.
Facts.
So when we think, I'm going to actually make a little point for everyone listening before we wrap this up. I've been hands-on as a therapist working with clients for nearing on a decade now. The years of knowledge and wisdom and perspective that I've gained towards health and recovery is enough to completely change your life for the better. And the amount of time you would have to put in and the amount of time you would have to invest to try and learn and know all of the things I know when it comes to health and recovery would take you years. Literally years, because it's taken me years as well as it's taken Kyle years. So why not skip those years? Come to me and Kyle and we will completely change your lifestyle and fix your routine to accommodate and prioritise health and recovery so that you can create the longevity, the pain-free movement, the strength, stability, self-confidence and self-awareness that will give you the best possible life you can. Get in touch today, you motherfucker. Why are you not doing it? It's just, a lot of people have. Okay, cool. But I'm talking to the people that have never and the people that haven't yet. You need to make sure that you're not just letting your ego control you and go, I'm not going to go to him. I don't need him. You do need him. We need a lot of people around us. We don't need to know everything. That's why people have jobs. So, if you want to skip out the years of trying to acquire all the knowledge of health, fitness and recovery that me and Kyle have combined, get in touch and we'll change your life forever.
If you in life are controlled by your ego and you don't allow yourself to take or receive support from people that are above you, know more than you in areas that you need help in, you're going to be limited, completely limited in life. And it's all perspective, to be honest, because if you look at that from a perspective of, I don't need his help and he's not going to tell me what to do and you've got a bit of an ego about it, you're then very, very limited, okay? But if you change the perspective of that to, I'm going to utilize this person as a tool to get to where I want to, that then becomes a very positive scenario, and it allows you to become a much better version of yourself.
More life coaching. More life clinic. Life changed. Forever.
Completely.
Life
Permanent
changed
changes.
forever. Life changed forever.
Permanent changes.
The perspective that you need, the knowledge, the awareness, the accountability that you need, we have for you. Get in touch today to change your life forever. That is all we need to say. I hope you've taken a lot of nuggets from this episode. It's all been about more life because we love speaking about ourselves, but for good reason. Everything we spoke about today can completely apply to you if you're in the position of the people that we've been speaking about today. And to wrap this up, episode 3, we should hopefully have a special guest on. If we don't, we'll be talking about controversial topics that people will probably disagree with, but if you open your mind up to how we're looking at it in the context we're looking at it from, you probably will start to agree. Anything else to add, Kyle?
No, and it's all perspective. A powerful point about perspective is you could see a little man run to a shop, stealing a loaf of bread, okay? He could either be a scumbag thief or he's stealing bread to feed his family. And that changes the full scenario, changes the full fucking world, the full view on that situation. So think about the perspective change you could take on your life to completely change your full reality that's in front of you. Could be as simple as that little example I'll give you there.
We'll end it on this. Imagine having to wipe your arse with your hand. Imagine not actually being able to afford toilet roll. Imagine that. See you later.